One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Oh, man. Beautiful day here in the ATL. For some more than others, this is the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com. Also on the Spreaker app. You can also hear the show maybe on TuneIn. It's been kind of hit and miss with the whole TuneIn situation, so you might be able to hear the show live on TuneIn as well as on my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. The show is also available on demand. If you don't get a chance to hear it live, you can also go back and hear every episode of every show that I've done on Spreaker, the app, TuneIn, and my website, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. The video will be posted from the live stream. What live stream you say? The live stream is going on right now on Facebook. You can head on over to Facebook. My page is the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE, and check me out there. I do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 7 o'clock, the live stream. Also, make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram too, and check in on some of these hashtag put it on the poll questions that I have for the day. You guys can also put it on the poll. Hashtag put it on the poll if you guys got a decision you want to make. If you want to let the people help you make a decision, the people who listen to my show help you make a decision, just hashtag it, put it on the poll, and at me at One Mic with Big Mike. Do that on Twitter and Instagram, and see what I can do for you. You can be a part of the show. All you gotta do is text the number 404-902-8104. I'm looking to hear from my Falcons fans today, man. What's really good, everybody walked up in work with their head up. Ain't nobody have to make no explanations. Ain't nobody have to be humble today. And, you D-bags, sir, sure weren't, boy. Goodness gracious. I love my people, but y'all can be so, my gosh, overbearing when good things happen, as though it's like you ain't never had nothing good happen. Well, let my man tell it. My man Rob Calloway tell it. The city has only had one good thing happen, which is in 1995. So we'll get to all that here as the show moves on. You can also leave your comments below my live streaming video on Facebook. Like I mentioned, the Facebook page is One Mic with Big Mike. And while you're there, there's some tabs over to the right as well of where the video streaming. You guys can go ahead and like my Instagram, my Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube straight from there. You can also jump inside my live interactive chat room that's going on Spreaker. You have to be listening via Spreaker or have the app on your phone. You can also be listening via my website, onemicwithbigmike.com, and click on the little thought bubble icon that you see on the streaming player, and platow. There it is. You're in the live interactive chat room where you guys can interact with me. You can interact with other listeners to the show. Do whatever you want to do. You can ask questions. I got a couple of guests tonight. You guys know it's Monday. So on Mondays, we do this thing called Troupe Talk. My man, former SEC tight end with the Florida Gators. He also was an NFL tight end drafted by the Tennessee Titans in 2004. He's Ben Troupe. So he joins me at the bottom of the hour. Then at the top of the hour, dude who I haven't heard from in a while. We haven't spoken in a while. He used to do a segment on my previous show, the Sports Kings, when we were doing a radio show here in Atlanta called What Up Bob. My man, Bob Whitfield, decided he was going to grace me with his presence so we could talk about this Falcons team and actually talk about some of the things that they went through in 98, because he was on the 98 team here in Atlanta, and how the city felt to him versus how he thinks it is now in the city for a team that's, for all intents and purposes, got a real good shot of bringing a world championship back home to the ATL. Today was a real strange day, Like usually my day is work, and today was a little different. I was mad distracted. I still got these problems going on with my laptop here, so that's another story. But I didn't do the same amount of prep for the show that I usually do. Like usually I just try to consume all day, just consume, take notes, and then be ready for the show once 7 o'clock hits. But today was a little bit different. I don't know if it's all this Falcons crap and, people doing the things that they do on social media and on Twitter and Instagram and all this kind of stuff, this funny stuff. But I just really didn't. And I don't know if there was too much more for me to get from today, other than what happened last night. In the NFL, of course, we had Saturday night primetime basketball, which is awesome. But, some of you guys and girls say you don't even pay attention to the round ball until football is over, and I know that's the case here in Atlanta, and to put myself a little bit in that category, I'm about to look at this Hawks game while I do the show, but I don't know where the Hawks are in the standings right now. Usually I check the standings a couple of times a week just to see, because especially in the Eastern Conference, things are so loose and so up and down, but I haven't in like the last week or so, probably because of all this football stuff. Maybe I'm falling into the trap of just paying attention to football. So since we got a guest at the bottom and the top of the next hour, we're going to move the daily feature on this day to the bottom of the next hour, where I take a look back. For those of you who don't listen to the show, who haven't heard the show, I'm going to take a look back to the annals of sports and give you guys some historical tidbits on some things that have happened on this particular day in history. I got a couple of NCAA things that I want to discuss. One is kind of big though. One is like mad political, and it's real weird, and it's real grimy. I should have time to get to it today after I get through with my guest at the bottom of the bottom of the second hour. But yeah, you might want to stick around for this, especially if you got kids that are like NCAA football, basketball, whatever eligible. There's some real crazy stuff, and of course, TNT is trying something real wild, and I don't think I like it with the basketball. So I'll get to that as well at some point today. But of course, the biggest thing to talk about today, everybody's on everybody's tongue. Everywhere you turn on television, we got a Super Bowl matchup finally. We got a Super Bowl matchup between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons from right here in my hometown of the ATL. Also, oh my God, we talked a little bit about Trump. Well, no, we talked a lot about Trump. I talked a lot about Trump on Friday. Oh, this weekend was it was a vanglorious, to quote my man Bone Crusher, it was a vanglorious weekend, boy, for that dude. Oh my gosh, he is such a turd bag. And shout out to the ladies too. Shout out to all the ladies and the guys who took part, I guess I should say, in the Women's March. For those of you who listen to the show, you know my stance on the marching situation. I think it's antiquated, and I think it's a little archaic, and I don't really think anything gets accomplished by like springing up and having a march today and then nothing tomorrow. I don't think that's really the move, and I don't think that mode of protest is something that's recognized anymore, because the power in it, or the influence that it's set to have, there's just no more. You know what I mean? It happens and it goes away, and then everybody moves on, because the world moves so much faster now. Like, that thing will be forgotten. Like, many of you probably forgotten it already. You know what I mean? And it'll be forgotten very quickly. I was looking at Real Time with Bill Maher on Friday, and Keith Olbermann was on the show, and he said something that was really up my alley a little bit. But it's one of those things that I would say, or I have said, but I just don't think it's plausible, because I think to affect change, or to give you an analogy, you can't just, like, most people can't just hit a nail one time with the hammer and it goes in. You got to continue to hit it. And the way he was talking was like this has to come up every time. Like, every time Donald Trump appears somewhere, there needs to be a rally there. There needs to be this, that. And I don't think people have that staying power. And only reason because of what society has shown me. Like, most of the time, we get numb to things really quick. Like, things become the norm to people really, really fast. And then even with Obama, I mean, people still, for the whole 8 years, hated Obama. But the biggest, the largest, or the hardest they went was at the beginning. You kind of exert all that emotion at the beginning. They running through the street, hanging his body in effigy and burning him and all that, and with signs and all that. And then later on, it just came down like, oh, I'm just sitting in my chair and tweet about this, or write a Facebook post about it. And I think for whatever it is, that seems to be the mode that people fall into, is that it's hard. It's hard to burn a flame that hot for that long, for 4 years. You know what I mean? You know, those Tea Party quacks, they kind of pulled it off. You know what I mean? Kind of took over the Republican Party in doing it. But they had a little bit more of a snowball effect. You know, they started off, you know, small, and then they started just gathering everything around them. Like everybody who didn't initially want to be a part of them, like, damn, these dudes they're too powerful and they too strong. We gotta bow down. I don't necessarily see Donald Trump bowing down to anybody. You know what I mean? And one of the reasons is because he got the cronies he's got around him. They treat him like a I don't know. They treat him like one of those entitled children, like a petulant child. You know what I mean? Like my man showed up. His press secretary showed up, yelling at the media, telling people that they was misrepresenting facts. When homeboy, when everybody saw the pictures in 2008, everybody named Mama was trying to get up in the joint to see my man Barack. And then this year, everybody was like, I'm good. I'm good on this whole Trump situation. Even his people didn't show up, you know. And then to just give it a little bit more contrast, the next day when the lady showed up, it was booming again. But my man was all mad. And that shows you one thing, that the people around him know that they have to try to protect his ego. No, don't worry, Donald, you're great. They're lying. It's all lies. Those pictures are fabricated, and you got his other shouty on TV talking about alternate facts. What the hell does that even mean? Like, that happened to me the other day. Like, somebody was telling me about, I was telling somebody about, you know, how certain things are just fact. And then they, in return, said, no, they're your facts. And I was like, that's impossible. That can't be a thing. You know what I mean? It's like 2 + 2 is 2 for everybody. It's not just mine or yours. Like the world, the world is round for everybody. You know what I mean? Water, it freezes at 32 degrees Celsius. Everybody. It can't be my fact. And I thought about that when I heard this broad holler out, well, he was giving you alternative facts. Yeah, you're an idiot. And you're bumping for another idiot. So yeah, shout out to them, man. Shout out to them for having to, not even having to at this point. You volunteered, man. You wanna be a part of that. And when history is written on this situation, man, it's gonna be written in a very horrible, stupid situation, and people gonna be looking like, in 50 years, people gonna be looking back at this time in history like, man, my grandparents was dumb as hell. How the hell they let that be a thing? Anyway, it's the One Mic with Big Mike show here, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. I might be on TuneIn tonight. I'm not sure. I've been emailing them to get my show back live on TuneIn, but I may have violated some sort of rule that I don't know about, but they haven't hit me back yet. Also, I'm on One Mic with BigMike.com. Shout out to my man Big L. He's in the chat room. Big L, how was your weekend, man? Did you check out any of this football? I don't know. Big L, you from Arkansas, so I don't know. What's the team in Arkansas? The Cowboys or whatever? Like, that's probably the closest team. Maybe the Saints. I don't know. But now, like, look, now we at the point now. Just watch football. Just enjoy football. Well, I can't even say that. I can't even say enjoy football, because the football has been trash. You understand? It's been trash throughout the entire playoffs, I put a poll question up. By the way, hashtag put it on the poll is brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. I put a poll question up a couple of weeks ago that I asked the question, like, are these damn games is the season too long? And most people said it ain't. Some people said they like it longer. Man, come on. I wonder if those people would have that same reaction now. I know the Falcons fans don't give a damn, because the Falcons are relatively healthy, you know, as opposed to all the other teams. I would even say they're healthier than the Patriots. You know what I mean? What else did I have on? Oh, we got to talk about Oregon at some point today. That dude, Willie Taggart, catching it, boy. Oh, Willie Taggart is catching. Oh, man, it ain't easy. I said this the other day, man. It ain't easy being the first, man. When you the first, bruh, you don't get no allowances, man. Other dudes can do crazy stuff, and then it's gonna fall back on you. And Paul Feinstein's on TV talking mad crazy about you and how they got to get this dude in order and like whip him in the. Come on, man. This dude's a professional adult. It's college football. Ish happens. You know what I mean? Let's keep it real. I guess not when you a bruh, man. Not when you a bruh. You the first one. They gotta make an example out of this Negro. Willie, you gotta get it together, brother. I'm gonna talk to Ben Troupe about it at the bottom of the hour when we do Troupe Talk. My man Ben Troupe, former Florida Gator, former second round pick for the Tennessee Titans. So yeah, these games terrible. I think there was only 2 competitive games. Of course, the Cowboys and the Packers game was a very competitive game all the way down to the end. And I don't know, what was the other one? Was it the Steelers and the Chiefs? I guess. Whatever, man. Alex Smith was in that game. So what you want me to say? Yeah. So anyway, the Falcons. That's the big story around my way. You know what I mean? My man, I am no dose, told me yesterday on Twitter, like, man, I ain't going to be able to mess with you for the next 2 weeks on the show because it's going to be all Falcons. But here's the thing about it. The one thing that I've always kind of prided myself on bringing to the table is a certain level of perspective. Because I didn't grow up as a Falcons fan. I'm from here. I'm from Atlanta, but I didn't grow up as a Falcons fan. And a lot of people who are Falcons fans, like, you talk to them, and I've asked this question on air a bunch of times. Like, a lot of people, it's like a lineage type thing. It's like a thing that's passed down. Like, my dad was a worker bee, man. My dad didn't give a damn about no sports and none of that stuff. He was working. You know what I mean? So the sports I got in the streets, I got in the neighborhood, and I never could understand why the people here had the attitude they had towards the team that they said they rooted for. It never made sense to me. Like, there was always this sense of vitriol towards the team when they didn't do well. And I always had fun watching the Falcons play. I mean, they weren't very good, but at points, they were very fun to watch. And they had Deion and Andre Rison and Michael Haynes and Chris Miller. You know what I mean? Ironhead Hayward was in that piece. It was like fun. Jerry Glanville, MC Hammer coming up on the sideline. Jesse Toga was in this month. Like, it was fun to watch them play. They just weren't very, very good all the time. But people hated that, man. And it felt to me as a kid, it felt like they hated the team. And I was like, well, I don't want to be a part of that because I don't hate this team. I think they're pretty cool. You know what I mean? I just grew up with that, and inevitably, because so many times the Falcons games were blacked out on television. Like, you get that little message on the bottom of the screen. They'd be playing like a rerun of MASH, and they'll be telling you how the game has been blacked out or whatever. Yeah, real talk. But the game that always did come on was the Cowboys game. So I found myself watching the Cowboys a lot. I just grew up being a Cowboys fan, you know what I mean? And eventually that was like, I talk on the radio about sports. How about we just don't do the fan thing anymore? Because it gets ridiculous, and people try to use that stuff to fortify dumb points. Like, well, what about you? Or what about Tony Romo? Like, what about it? Like, get back to talking about what we were talking about. Like, that seemed to always be like the up and at 'em thing to clap back. And I was like, oh, this is idiotic. And I'm not going to join the idiot session. I mean, I'm going to enjoy myself watching sports. And I found that it makes it more gratifying, as a matter of fact, to watch sports without that emotional tension. You can actually watch it intellectually and then, turn around and have a decent conversation with people who are willing to have decent conversation about it. But we here now. We meaning us, all of us, sports fans. We here, the Patriots and the Falcons. Going to the chat room real quick. Big L said, I've been loving the playoffs. Damn Steelers messed up my Super Bowl picks. See, that's the thing. Like, dudes make picks and bets to spice it up. What was Bell's problem? He had a groin, man. He like pulled his groin. I guess he ain't warm up right. And I guess he had a slightly pulled groin or whatever. So, and I don't think that's why they lost the game either, bruh. Like, that Patriot squad, freaking Chris Hogan, like some dude just like, hey, come here. You want to play wide receiver? Are you white? Can you catch? You're with the Patriots. That seems to be the mantra. And you got to sprinkle in one dude real quick, like the kid from Georgia, Malcolm Mitchell, and they sprinkle in Martellus Bennett real quick, to throw everybody off the scent. But you know what it is, cuz we all know. And it's funny that I started to do like a little Photoshop thing last night because I saw that brother on the sideline when the Patriots got the what do they call the Union Army dudes as their mascots, and it was like one brother, and I was gonna like do one for the South. Like, I bet y'all ain't rooting for the North this time, Negroes, but I didn't have time to do it. I just thought it was funny in my mind. I may still do it. It's 2 weeks. We got 2 weeks to do a bunch of dumb-ish. So anyway, the game, the Falcons and the oh God. See, this is okay. So Big L is he's still talking about Le'Veon Bell. Was he hurt or was he injured? It's a groin, B. You know what I mean? It's a groin. That I think that goes into the injury category. When you can't extend and you run around here, got a stride and all that. That's a tough move, man. It's cold as hell. Yeah, my man. And again, I don't think that's why they lost the game. I just think the Patriots were the better team. They were playing at home. You know, they got that dude that wears number 12 taking snaps. Defensively, they're not very good also. So I don't think that's why they lost the game. I'm not messing with you, dog. I'm not messing with Big L. The Falcons tore their ass up, man. And you know what it had me thinking? I was like, as much as we like that Aaron Rodgers throw last week to the other Rodgers kid, like at this point, maybe the Falcons should have just had to go to Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that Dallas would have beat them. I don't know that the Falcons would have beat the Cowboys, but my feeling would be kind of like maybe it would have been a better game. Like, more people were healthy, at least. You know what I mean? Like, no one was. I thought at one point my phone was gonna ring and it was gonna be like Mike McCarthy was like, "Dude, I don't know you. This is a random It's like a random call to anyone with a 770 area code. Can you get down to the dome by halftime and suit up?" You know what I mean? Because they was running out of dudes. Something dude like when you know it's over, and like when you probably just got thrown in the towel and walk back into the locker room and not come back out. When you got a dude that's undrafted, run 4.7. And you got him playing bump and run with what was arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Ball game. It's game. Like, I think you got lucky with him only getting 180 because the last team that did that, he hit him for 3 bills. That Carolina Panther squad. So it's like they kind of took it easy on these Packers, man. Yeah, I saw that. As soon as they said that on the telecast, yeah, he was clocked there running a 4.7. I was like, somebody need to check their notes. No way. Like, first of all, what is he doing on the team? He's a defensive back in the NFL. Whose mama, whose cousin or nephew is that kid? No freaking way. Like, I'd be willing to bet that Julius Peppers can still run a 4.7. He plays DN for that team. Julius Peppers ran like 4.5 coming out of Carolina. I could probably put money down that Julius Peppers can run a 4.7. And ain't nobody trying to see Julius Peppers on Quintorius Jones out there. Yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed with that football game, man. I've said it before many a time on this show. I can't stand bad football, bad sports, period. You know, because then my attention span ain't the right way, so I tune out, and I'm forcing myself for this particular game because I know the Falcons are going to win, and I know there's going to be some like extracurricular stuff that I might want to talk about on the show. I ain't got none of that. All the extracurricular stuff I have is coming off of Facebook because I couldn't do it. I was trying my best, to hear people talk about it, Aaron Rodgers and whoever. Even missed part of the first quarter of the other game. Couldn't do it. Nope. Big L's asking, why everybody in the NFL scared of a 39-year-old quarterback? On an all-out blitz, see, you can't do that with Tom Brady. You can't all-out blitz Tom Brady. You know why? Because he is 39 and because he's seen everything. Like, part of blitzing is the element of surprise. You know what I mean? He's going to get you to give it away immediately. And the next thing you know, Chris Hogan got 180 points, 180 yards. Chris Hogan, dude. You guys remember him from Hard Knocks, the one where Chad Ochocinco got fired on the show after he headbutted his old lady? Yeah, not laughing at that part, laughing at him. Not laughing at it. It don't matter anyway if I am laughing at it. Like, it's not going to make it any better or worse that he did it. I hate when people say that. I can't believe you're laughing at that. So what if I am? It just makes me a bad guy, but it doesn't change the fact that he headbutted her. Which I never understood that as a go-to move either. Like, I've never headbutted someone and be like, yeah, dude, I got you because, like, I'm hitting your head with my damn head. Maybe it's an art to it, a technique to it, but that's like a white boy move. That's the first thing I thought about when I heard that. I was like, damn, that's white boy's go-to move right there. Like, white boy just get, no way, dude, and bang, just like with his head. Nah, that seemed like a bad choice at all costs, man. The other thing about this Packers team that we found out, that everyone should have found out, that whole magic stuff, Aaron Rodgers, for all the people, and this is where I'll talk about people picking the team, because people pick the Packers to win off of dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, look at Aaron Rodgers, how hot in the magic. And no. You see how much talent is on that Falcon squad? Like, let's take the jerseys, take the team, the cities off of. You put those two teams in front of each other. I'm giving you Aaron Rodgers. I'll up your Aaron Rodgers and give you a Matt Ryan. I think that's a wash. But then we go to, like, the white boy in the backfield, the wide receiver in their backfield, and two real-ass running backs in Atlanta. Jordy Nelson's all broke up. He can't hardly breathe. He got a flap jacket on. And then you got Quintorris. Need I go on? Feel me? Like, talent, if I ever had to put money on something, I used to always say this on the old show. I'm going to always bet on the talent. To me, talent wins out. Not every time. You know, there are those things, those Cinderella things that you guys and girls seem to love. But for the most part, talent wins out, cuz. Talent, and let's not sugarcoat this little thing called luck. Because with every team, luck is going to come into play. And I don't mean luck like tip balls and things of that nature. I mean, yesterday those things did rear their heads a little bit. The fumble on the goal line by the white boy running back, the picks that they didn't get, meaning the Packers, the fumbles that they weren't able to recover. Like, those things are real, like, game changers. But also, in the bigger picture, when I start talking about luck, it's like Matt Ryan don't miss no games. And then you got a solid dude up front in Alex Mack. You drafted your left tackle. These dudes been real steady all season long up front in the backfield. You know, Julio got his situation with the foot. He's had the foot situation since he got drafted. But the tight end situation is cool. I mean, Jacob Tammy went out, but then you found a gem in that kid, Taylor Gabriel. You still got the kid from ECU. You got Mohamed Sanu, who's been virtually healthy. He missed a couple games. But for the most part, man, the Falcons have been, like, real together. Of course, Desmond Troupe got hurt and is out for the season. One of their D tackles, I can't remember which one, tore his bicep or tricep last week. But here's the thing, like, ain't nobody looking at the Falcons to win on defense. So, like, just put some dudes in. I mean, like, put somebody over there and let's go. You got two young linebackers. Vic Beasley had a nice season statistically. I'm still not sold on him, though. You know, and here's why. Like, yesterday before the game, I tweeted. I said, I want to see how many times, or if they even do it, run stunts where Vic Beasley is the man coming inside. Because as I mentioned to D. Orlando Ledbetter last week, that seemed to be his thing. They do a lot of stuff to free him up, getting him inside. With Aaron Rodgers, that's a bad look because he's going to tear it up outside the pocket. They did a good job of keeping him in the pocket, but Vic Beasley, as I've seen all year, he gets run by the quarterback a lot. You know, the offensive tackle, they allow him to speed rush, and they use the speed against him. There's a counter to that if he can ever develop and have faith in his bull rush. You know, get them cats leaning a little bit and then just turn that speed into power. He got it. He's strong as hell. You saw his combine workout and his individual workout at Clemson. That dude is strong and athletic as hell. Now it becomes a matter of, you know, confidence, because if you don't develop it and you don't get those counters, you turn into a guy like Javon Kearse. If you guys remember, Javon Kearse came in. He had one of these seasons early in his career out of Florida. You know, very, very athletic. They called him the Freak. He was the first dude they was calling the Freak. But eventually, tackles got more athletic. Tackles caught on to it. They started running that fast dude by. I almost called him the N-word. They started running him by the quarterback, and you know, there went him. And then there was injuries and things like that. He ended up shortening his career or whatnot. All right, so let's take a break here. Get my man Ben on the phone, because I know Ben was texting me last night. So I know he want to talk about this. We got to talk about some college football stuff as well. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live on Spreaker.com. You know what else I didn't do? I got to give you guys, before I start talking to Ben, I got to give you guys the results to some of the poll questions from Friday. I forgot to do that at the top of the show, so I'll do it on the other side of the break. Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, tune in, and OneMicWithBigMike.com is where you hear me live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to sign up for your free Spreaker accounts like my man Big L has done. That way, once you follow my show, One Mic with Big Mike, you get an alert to tell you when the show is about to start. Also, keep this number, 404-902-8104. That's how you get in contact with me during the show. By texting that number, you can also jump inside the live interactive chat room. Just click on the little thought bubble icon that you see on the streaming player, or you can leave your comments below the live streaming video here on the old Facebook live stream. I will return in about a minute and a half.
Well, I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at OneMicWithBigMike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking, but no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times, when we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while? Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike. Time for Troupe Talk.
What you talking about?
We're talking NFL and college football with former NFL and SEC tight end Ben Troupe.
Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my! Still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score! He's gonna score!
Troupe Talk. Troupe Talk.
We heading to the top if you come on.
On One Mic with Big Mike.
All right. I know no one heard me because I didn't have my mic turned on, but you heard the intro at least. And you know what time it is. It's Monday, right around 7:30. It's time to check in with the homie Ben Troupe, do this thing we call Troupe Talk. He is a former second-round pick of the Tennessee Titans in 2004. Also, All-American down at Florida, University of Florida, that is. And also a Georgia-Florida game Hall of Famer. What up, Ben? Good, man.
Oh, man, just chilling as usual, man. Thanks for having me.
It's all good, man. You don't have to thank me no more. Like, you the dude that, like, you come over and you know where the refrigerator at. Just go get you something to drink. Don't ask me, dog.
I be saying, I said, this is like I've been knowing Mike, like, for years, man. Like, man, Mike grew up together.
Yeah, dog.
Which is that parody, you know, when you think about, you know, radio, and a lot of times people say, I don't want to do radio because, one, they don't want people to know what they think, and two, they just uncomfortable. I said, man, talking to Mike is like, you know, being at the barbershop, man. Mike, I'm in the chair, and Mike over there sitting, and then we're just chopping it up.
We're just kicking it, dog. That's it. So, of course, we got to talk about the games yesterday, but as we do each and every Monday, we got a couple of things to square away in the world of college football real quick. First and foremost, this thing going on at Oregon, man. Like, they put my man Willie through the ringers, man. And I talked about it last week that it's not necessarily fair or easy being the first. Like he went up to Oregon, and Oregon has had a little bit of a reputation that they don't really do the workouts. You from the South, I'm from the South. We both played college football. You, of course, at a higher level than me, but we understand that you get your butt whooped in them in between season workouts. So Willie took that stuff to Oregon, and Cass ended up in the hospital. And now this week, your man, his offensive coordinator, hired and fired almost immediately. And Ben, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, as soon as I heard that story, I was like, man, don't let it be a brother. Cause that'd be two. The strength coach was a brother, and I was like, man, this offensive coordinator is a brother. And the bad guy in me, when I saw it, dog, I got relieved. I was like, phew. At least it wasn't a brother.
Yeah. It's like when you hit certain things on TV, you always, it's that color barrier. Like, oh, that ain't us right there. Just the DC sniper, not to, take away from the
right.
He was like a rarity. But yeah, man, it's just listen. The thing about it is, Oregon and what's going on out there is the fact that you see why certain teams are built the way they built, because football is a 24-hour. A day business. It don't go away.
It's not safe.
What can I do? What can I do to implement it? And the people be like, well, man, somebody will say something like this. Well, man, it's just football, man. You need to calm down. You look at them like, what? Like, what did you say? Listen, man, to be able to compete, we got to be the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, the most elite. And yeah, true indeed. Some of these players, they don't realize how rough it is in this off season. But look, Listen, the off season in college football is equivalent to training camp in the NFL. It makes you think to yourself, "Do I really want to do this?
Right.
Like, is this what I really want to do?"
You separate the herd.
I didn't know my body could ache like this, and I'm 18. I'm having serious doubts about playing football again. And even with the whole offensive coordinator situation, man, listen. Look, if you hired and fired, I mean, I was just like you, Mike. I was relieved. I said, because it's hard for brothers to get the
yeah,
position.
Man. I was like, damn it, man.
We listen, and I said we the greatest assistant coaches in the world, but those coordinator positions,
right.
we few and far between, and so yeah, man. Listen, what's going on in Oregon is unfortunately it isn't a rarity. You hear these type of things, not the hiring and firing of the coordinator, but the whole working out situation that happens, man. And listen, if it's your program, this is what you're implementing, and unfortunately those kids gonna have to get on board, man. I don't see it getting any better because coaches don't like to adjust.
Yeah, and that was weird because just last week, the same week or the week before, I think I was reading a kid from Iowa died. No one said a word. Wow. Guess what color his head coach is?
I went through that. I actually experienced that at Florida. I can't remember the young man's name. That was my senior year. It was his freshman year. And big fullback, man, from Jacksonville, Florida, man. He died. He died from it actually cooked his brain. Because they make the it was bad, man. To get the freshmen acclimated to the heat, they make them work out in the afternoon. You got to get acclimated to this. Is what you're going to work out in.
He wasn't worse.
And it was one of those things, Mike. It was sad because no football player wants to ever be seen as a quitter. Yeah. I'm going to keep going even if I ain't. But I said, there's a difference in quitting and taking a break. Mind you, if you can't go, I can live with some name calling, some criticism, but I also have my life.
Right, exactly.
And they said, and what made it really hit home was one of the paramedics told us, he told me, he said, Ben, I ain't going to lie to you. I think it was a police officer. He said, when that young man got in that ambulance, it was over. He was still breathing, but his eye, it was over, man. And you never ever, listen, man, football is a sport. And we love it. We love watching. We love playing. We love competing, what may have you. But listen, man, if you have to walk away because of, you can't go, you can't go. Deal with what comes with it, because it ain't worth to have that young man's parents. Because people say, yeah, you guys put his name patch on his jersey. Okay, he's gone.
Right.
His parents sent him to Florida to be a Florida Gator, not to be deceased.
And it's such a fine line.
And unfortunately, man, it gets that rough. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, it's such a fine line between, getting yourself. Because most of us will stop at a certain point, but the job of the strength coach is to kind of push you past that point and show you that you can push yourself. So at that time in the game when you feel like I don't have another play in me, you're going to go ahead and you know that you do have that other play. So it's such a, it's football, man. And sometimes in football, things go wrong. The other thing I want to talk to you about before we move on to what we saw yesterday and what's going on here in ATL, Deshaun Watson decided he's not going to play in the Senior Bowl. even after Hugh Jackson and the guys have, asked him to, because they're going to be the coaching staff that are going to be dealing with him, and they want to see him up close and personal, kind of like the way Jason Garrett and the guys got to see Dak Prescott last year. But my man is like, look, man, my body tired. That dude didn't play 2 long seasons. He played 2 NFL seasons, essentially, and he don't want to go through it. Like, what's your take on that? Like, it's an opportunity for him because everyone's not really sold on this guy's draft stock. He's not like a Peyton Manning or an Andrew Luck type of prospect. What do you see? Do you see him as a guy who should participate, or you understand his position?
Well, you know what? I have to respect this man's position. The reason why I say it is this: no different than what you and I doing, right now with Radio Mike. At a certain point, man, a man has to take control of his own fate.
Absolutely.
And you have to live with it. And the thing about it is think about it. If Deshaun Watson say, "Well, listen, because of the pressure, I chose to do this," if your heart ain't there, man, you ain't even gonna be performing at your best. Listen, you're a professional now, and being a professional means making decisions. He's saying, "Look. Yes, I've graduated. You guys want to see me, but look, you're gonna see me at the combine and at my pro day. I'm not going to no Senior Bowl. And think about it. What I don't like is how they dress it up. Deshaun Watson, refusing to go to the Senior Bowl. No, he was asking questions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he said, no. You see, it's not like he's a senior. I've just graduated, and I choose not to go. And listen, everybody, it's almost like as adults, you have that paradigm shift, that epiphany. Say, look, man, I'm going to make my decision for me. My agent doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, I don't work for him. He works for me. I'm not going to. So I'm going to say, listen, Hugh, while I appreciate it, I ain't going. And they have to live with that fact because the college football, your only reward for being one of the best players of college football is to go to a bad team. Right. That is your reward. And the thing about it is Deshaun Watson, a lot of people ain't sold on him, this and the third or whatever. But Deshaun Watson can play ball. And there is no such thing as a sure thing in the NFL. Nope. People develop and all these different type of things. And the thing about Cleveland is, unfortunately, Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, doing nothing no different than John Elway did when he got drafted and when Eli Manning got drafted. Exactly. He said, look, man,
I want to go to that bad team.
Y'all take me, but I'm not finna go audition for y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because let's face it, man, Cleveland, y'all been bad for a long time. I mean, I don't want to be one of another long line of quarterbacks. I would love the opportunity, but as of right now, y'all see me in Clemson or not at all. So I respect the man's position. I gotta respect that man because a lot of people, they would give in to the pressure, succumb to the pressure, and then you ain't even performing at your best.
Yeah, and these kids are a lot smarter now. All right, so Ben, and by the way, I'm talking to Ben Troupe. We're doing this thing that we do every Monday called Troupe Talk. Make sure you guys are following Ben on Twitter and Instagram at Ben Troupe 84, and check out his website Ben Troupe 84. If you know anybody who needs a public speaker or a motivational speaker, holler at my man. He'll hook you up. All right, we got to move on to the NFL. That's enough college. But I was telling the people in the first set. You text me last night. What I say? These bad football games. Like I get caught in this kind of in between place where. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for the city, man. I'm happy for the people here. I'm happy for the city and the team to do. But God, I wanted better football for the last 2 games I'm gonna see this year.
It's bad.
I wanted better football, and we talked about this a few weeks ago. Is the season too damn long, Ben? Because these cats around there just limping around, gipping around.
It's bad. That's the great thing about getting different perspectives. It's almost like it's seeing things from a different way, and it's like, I am happy for the city. But a big reason why I'm happy for the city is because I'm from the state of Georgia, so I know I grew up an Atlanta Falcons fan. So I'm looking at it it's like growing up a Cleveland Cavs fan. It's different from you and I because we around this. This is what we grew up around. Mm-hmm. But the reality of the situation is, all the Atlanta Falcons did was expose what the Green Bay Packers have been all year. People forget Green Bay had to win 7 games just to make it in. They forget if Aaron Rodgers don't make that that 3rd and 25, that 37-yard throw to Jared,
I wish he would though now.
It's almost like why did y'all have to win the last 7 games? Because y'all defense ain't been that good all year. And what happens is, and it shows, if you cover Julio Jones one-on-one, you deserve whatever you get.
Wait. With a dude that run a 4, Ben, at your best, right? What was your 40 time?
Man, like a low 4.6, maybe a 4.6. and I'm talking about I ain't got on nothing but some boxer briefs. I try to get the guys time and to look the other way, and I'm gonna cook all day. You know,
dude, this dude ran 4.7 and was checking Julio press coverage.
Listen. The thing about it was with all the analytics, all the breaking down of the game, whatever, people forgot one thing. Green Bay is who they is. Green Bay defense is average at best. When one of your best players, and this ain't nothing, no knock, is Julius Peppers. See, what does that say about them guys is way younger than him?
Right.
Some of these guys, 21. Julius Peppers been playing 16, 17 years. And see, the thing about it is Atlanta just showed, listen, they pulled every tool they had out of that toolbox.
Man, didn't
and they were like, listen, man, listen, this is when you know it's bad. Gabriel didn't even have a good game. He didn't even play well. Muhammad Sanu, he had that one touchdown pass. But the best player on the field, you covering him one-on-one, and you wonder why it ends up the way it ends up. Let's take nothing away from that defense. I mean, everything that could go right for Atlanta went right, and everything that could go wrong for Green Bay went wrong. But I just think that it shows that while Aaron Rodgers is an incredible player, he might have went to his last Super Bowl. He might not go. Because if they listen, Atlanta addressed what Green Bay still has. Atlanta addressed that defense. They added some weapons to that offense. Not now. I
don't know that they were necessarily challenged though. They with all the injuries that was going on. I don't think they were necessarily challenged on defense.
They want listen. Atlanta is younger and way more athletic and way more because think about it. At a certain point, Mike, you think, are they even moving at the same speed? Like look at Green Bay move. Okay, I'm gonna say this is when I knew it was over. It was been over, but when Matt Ryan is rushing for a touchdown, and this isn't a 5-yard touchdown.
It's like 14 yards.
He's running through the defense. And you got defensive players that are so tired, they got just enough energy to get close to him and say, man, I can't even die.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's getting mental bust. It was just bad.
I no greater tell. I just hope that the Atlanta Falcons don't run into a buzzsaw against Bill Belichick and figure Tom Brady. I hate the fact that because when the last time they went, they had Denver. And now this time they got to get Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But if it's ever a year or a team that's built to win it, Atlanta got the team to do it, man. Because when Julio Jones is your oldest receiver, Matt Ryan is one of your oldest players on offense, and they two of your best. Vic Beasley and those boys, they got a young defense, man. They do some things, man. That little flop at the end of the game.
that was ridiculous.
Funny. That made me laugh.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about where this offense goes forward, because I'm at a place where a lot of people around here aren't at, because the whole fandom thing doesn't really reside with me. I look at this season as a very, very good season. Whatever happens in 2 weeks, I think this was a very, very good season. I think it was. I think it would be great if they won, but if they don't, look, you got a 50-50 chance. There's only two teams. One of them gonna walk away with the trophy. The other one gonna get the Jordan face. You know what I mean? But with Atlanta, what we're looking at is a situation that we talked about a little while ago, and my man D'Orlando Ledbetter talked me off of it when I told him Kyle Shanahan's gonna be out of here, D, and he said to me, I don't think he's gonna go. I don't think he's gonna take any job. Well, he done took the job. He done took the job that you said he wasn't gonna take. So now what I'm hearing and reading today, did you see this? The name that popped up, who might be the new guy? Please say you haven't heard it. Oh, you haven't heard it?
I haven't heard it.
Chip Kelly, baby.
Come on, man. Oh, my God.
Yeah, dude.
See, I don't think that, to me, Chip Kelly.
It can't happen, dude. That can't happen.
Chip Kelly has this Will Muschamp type aura about him when it comes to, I don't understand what people, listen, sometimes your best was at Oregon.
Right.
And it worked for 1 year in Philly. It worked for 1 year. You are the Ronnie Brown Wildcat at the Miami Dolphins. It worked until people figure it out.
And then what you going
to do? And the thing about NFL offense is it's disrespectful to a defensive coordinator to say, you think because you're going fast? You think because you're trying to run 100 plays in 10 seconds? Dude, that's going to do two things. That's going to put your defense on the field way too much. And you ain't on the field long enough. Your time of possession is awful. Listen, man, listen. Chip Kelly, he is a good offensive mind. But, listen, I don't even get why he would even get a consideration for the simple fact that you know what you're getting, man. Kyle Shanahan is going to be very hard to replace because, in my opinion, these dudes have earned everything they've gotten. I mean, look at the offense and the way it's moving. But you bring in a guy like Chip Kelly, that's basically throwing away everything.
And that's what I said a couple of weeks. They're going to be, whoever they bring in, they're going to be starting over, man. I don't know who their wide receivers coach is, or I saw an old brother that's the running back coach, but unless they have someone on staff that already has the Shanahan system that can continue it moving, I don't know who that is. And I haven't heard that name from anybody, any national people.
Listen. Offensive assistant, the assistant offensive coordinator, if it's a position, to say, listen, I was on Kyle Shanahan's hip. Why mess up a good thing? Why say, okay, we're going to throw away everything? The greatest thing about Tom Brady and what he does is he is an extension of Bill Belichick's mind. Meaning, listen, it's a system. It don't matter what offensive coordinator we got. We're gonna do what's best for Tom and his offense because they're the one that run it.
But aren't they
going to come in here with
Aren't they an exception to the rule? Because this is what happens. This is what we see. This is the reason that Dan Quinn is here, for all the success that was had in Seattle. Like, when teams have success, people are gonna come in and cherry pick your people. Like, you're not going to be able to keep – you got an offense or a record-setting offense. You're not going to be able to keep your offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? People going to come pick it up. And I always say that one of the hardest things I feel is because people don't understand. People think like Pete Carroll is this wacky guy. He is, but that's his defense. So when Gus Bradley leaves, Dan Quinn moves up. When Dan Quinn leaves, that brother they got up there moves up. In New England, that's Bill Belichick's defense. Here, this is not Dan Quinn's offense. This is Kyle Shanahan's offense. So when he leaves, you bring in a new dude in with a new concept and new offensive plans for what he wants to do with Matt and do with Julio. And they got to win it this year, Ben, just to be safe.
But when you think about it too, though, think about this. And I noticed it when it comes to coaching. It's almost like you got to have a defensive-minded coach that lets somebody else run their offense. Because think about it.
Or vice versa.
I always say, why do you think Tom Brady is as good as he is? Because I go up against Bill Belichick every day in practice. Mm-hmm. That is his defense. Mm-hmm. So I get to say things like, cool, just say you was playing against me and we trying to go 3 wide, this third, and what would you play? See, that's mind games all the time. So when you look at the fact that why you think Dan Quinn's defense is good as good, it's benefiting from a great offense. This is who we go up against. We getting Gabriel, Sanu, and these guys at Coleman. So, and the thing about Kyle Shanahan is Dan Quinn understood from Pete Carroll, I run my defense, I leave my offensive coordinator alone. I let him run his offense. I trust the people that I actually employ.
Well, he did have to actually, he had to kind of knock him down at the beginning of the season because of what happened last year. He was like, yeah, you and my quarterback need to get together, because last year, you remember, they weren't on the same page last year. There was times where Julio Jones came out and was like,
it took a couple of beers or something.
Right.
Which, listen.
But that's what your head coach needs to do.
Offensive coordinator and a quarterback, they need to be like little brother, big brother.
Yeah.
We don't get along, but we family. At the end of the day, we can put petty things to the side, and it's funny. Dan Quinn is earning his money because he went to the court and said, you need to get it together. Because if y'all don't get it together, it's over. And by them getting it together, look, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, in record-setting fashion.
That's not coincidental because so, hey, man, 2 young talent offensive coordinator, young talent quarterback. And like you say, man, the thing about this NFC South, the turnaround.
Yeah.
The turnover.
I mean, the league, period. Look at the 2 teams that was there last year. They at home at the beginning of the playoffs. Like, you got to get it now, B.
So they got to. This whole, and you know how it is, man. If Atlanta don't win, all these fake rise up shirt wearing. I love. Listen. I used to have some sea lives back in the day. I have some, forever. I love Atlanta sea lives. I had some, but they fake. And the thing about Atlanta is they got some fake fans. Listen, everybody else got real fans.
See, man,
I don't understand about it.
But that's the thing. The thing with the fan thing, like, I understand it. I truly can say I understand it. Like, looking outside in how it works, because so many times what happens is the people who call themselves the ride or dies or the day one guys, those people, guys and girls, what they end up doing is they shame the other people into going and get their rise up shirts or going to get their Matt Ryan jerseys. And then as the team gets better and better, those people kind of assimilate into the group that already was. And I'll say this, I 100% believe in a market like this, like here in LA, where there's always so many other things to do. Of course, the Steelers got lifelong fans. Of course, the Patriots got lifelong fans. Of course, Green Bay has. What you gonna do? Here, you can do whatever you want to. And if the team bad, well, I'm not going to no dang Falcons game. I'm gonna go to the park, or I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go to a play or something. But I think, and I talked to a dude named Will Leach the other day. He started Deadspin about this. He wrote an article about the plight of the Falcons fan or the Atlanta fan, and we talked about like those bandwagon people, quote unquote. I think a fan base like this needs those people, because if those people weren't around, you know what I mean? Those people who looked around the corner and was like, oh my God, the Falcons are pretty good. Let me go get me a red shirt real quick. I think the fan base needs that.
And Atlanta flooded. But you know what the thing that hurts Atlanta is you live in Boston, you grew up in Boston. You live in Pittsburgh, you grew up in Pittsburgh. You live in, places. Atlanta is so flooded with so many people from so many other places. Yeah. Like they moved here. I've been here for 10 years.
You got to make them believe.
10 years. So, and the thing about it is Super Bowl tickets prices are down, or they ain't flat. Because think about it, Green Bay and Patriots went to the Super Bowl tickets are gone. These tickets are they gone. Ain't no more. Big old sign, still availability for tickets. I still got tickets available from the 50-yard line. For the Super Bowl, yeah. Because now, if you're an Atlanta fan,
it's different.
Listen, and I said this
it's different than going to the Georgia Dome.
Of course, a real fan, you support your team regardless. That's why the Cleveland Browns are real fans, or the Oakland Raiders, because it's not based on the record. But the problem about Atlanta is, people say something, do you root for the Falcons? No, I just live here. What?
That's how I am.
Yeah, I just live.
Yeah, that's how I am. I've been that way since I was like 8 years old, man. I was telling the story before you came on in the first segment. Like, I grew up, and my dad, he wasn't really a sports guy. My dad was just a worker. He went to work all the time, so he wasn't a sports guy. So the sports that I got from the homies in the neighborhood, and I used to love watching the Falcons play. But then I would always go to school, and people would be so down on the Falcons because they weren't really good. But I thought they was exciting.
Yeah, the Falcons been bad for a long time. Right. And I understand. Listen, I got a chance to interview Jamal Anderson, and I was like, man, you had the Dirty Bird, and it's funny. He said, Ben, you know how old you just made me feel? I said, I ain't trying to make you feel old, but I said, listen, when you think of Atlanta, you think of Deion Sanders, MC Hammer, Jamal Anderson, the Dirty
Those were
Bird,
the days, yeah.
And that's it. And it kind of goes away at Michael Vick. Michael Vick got drafted to Atlanta. It's like, oh my God, it was like LeBron going to Cleveland. But I'm like, the thing about it is though, Matt Ryan is in a situation where, and not even blame him. I was listening to radio one time in Atlanta, and I heard one of the guys on the radio say the reason why the fan base is what it is because people be afraid to park their cars. You see where they have to park their cars in downtown Atlanta? Well, I'm like, what? I'm like, you? Well. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, did you say that out loud? They can't park on Martin Luther King? What is going to happen? Man, get out of here with that now. It's like the rich people wanted to go. They wanted to take the stadium where you want to take it to Flowery Branch. Not happening. And I just want Atlanta to have a good showing because the thing is, Atlanta is putting themselves in a situation to where you could be putting yourself in a situation that you can't even live up to these expectations because you go to a Super Bowl as the Carolina Panthers, you just assume, oh man, we went 15-1. Yeah, well, that was last year. Mm-hmm. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
one
tough.
year ain't got nothing to do with the next.
Yeah, those defensive coordinators, they get paid money too. They're going to spend all off season trying to figure it out. All right, Ben. Right. So what we're going to do is, I'll keep you posted and see if we do the Troupe Talk thing next week or if we just wait till the Super Bowl. But one last question before I let you go, because I got to get my man Bob Whitfield on the line here in just a second.
Yes.
Has Matt Ryan kind of deaded the ghost of Mike Vick with this season? Has he finally, for the most part? Because I know they're going to still be those people that he'll never be my quarterback like he's Trump.
No. You know what? He's I'll say it like this. He's finally dead to the fact that people going to keep let go of the comparisons. Because you got to think.
Gotcha.
Matt Ryan benefited from something to actually live up to. Yeah, Michael Vick never went to but he get to live up to something that was already set by Michael Vick. And then we talking about uneven. Michael Vick He had Algie Crumpler. He had Warwick Dunn. He had T.J. Duckett. Peerless Price. He didn't have a Julio. He didn't have the things, and that was back in the day when you knew you only coming to Atlanta to see the offense anyway. You ain't coming to see no defense. It ain't happening. You just knew it. But I just think that that's just the legacy that Michael Vick had. And the dog situation only added to it. Because I remember when they had Nike Town, right across the street from Leonard's Mall, and the whole thing was Michael Vick. Mm-hmm. The whole thing was him. So I just think, Matt, and unfortunately, you don't try to, ain't trying to compare apples to oranges, but, white quarterbacks don't get the same notoriety as black QBs. They just don't.
Not here.
Not in our community.
Yeah.
It just not, and I love Matt Ryan. I love what he's doing. But unfortunately for him, people going to say, well, who he had to throw the ball to? He had Roddy White. He had Tony Gonzalez. He had Julio. Oh, okay.
You know what?
So,
I'm gonna put that on my notes. We're gonna pick that conversation up next week. We will do Troupe Talk next week. I've already made the decision. We're gonna jump into that conversation next week, man. As always, man, you appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate it.
That's Ben Troupe, man. This thing we call Troupe Talk here on the One Mic. Yeah, me and him because we're gonna finally, after this, in this long season, he and I are gonna get into it over this Mike Vick situation and the whole, like, Matt Ryan's middle name might as well be Butt, or his last name. His middle name might as well be Ryan, and his last name might be Butt. Matt Ryan Butt. There's Matt Ryan Butt. All right, we're gonna take a break. I'll come back at the top of the next hour. I still got to give you guys those poll question results. My bad, but we got to get my man. He's a one-time Pro Bowler in 98. He also went to the Super Bowl with the Falcons. My man, Big Bob Whitfield. He's a crazy-ass dude, too, so we're going to have some fun with him as well before we get out of here for the day. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show here, live and direct on Spreaker.com, also on the TuneIn app, and on OneMic.com.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Hey, Nick Cannon here. So of course we all know there's lots of talent in America. But unfortunately, there's something else we've got way too much of. Childhood hunger. 17 million kids struggle with it in this country. But here's the thing. This problem is entirely solvable. Seriously, we already produce more than enough healthy, nutritious food in this country to feed every single last one of those hungry kids. We just need a way to get it to them. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is out there every day gathering surplus food to give hope to hungry kids and their families all across the country. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
Ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic. Back on a Monday, man. Back on a Falcons Monday here in the ATL. Live and direct on Spreaker.com. I'm also live on the Spreaker app, so make sure you download that situation for all your mobile devices. You can also catch the show on TuneIn and, of course, One Mic with BigMike.com. You can contact me by texting 404-902-8104. Also, by leaving your comments below the live streaming video. And as promised, told you guys, man, we was going to do this thing. This dude, I hadn't talked to this guy in a minute either, since the old Sports King days at the mothership CBS over there, man. Y'all welcome in one-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl attendee, or played for the Falcons Super Bowl team in 98, my man Big Bob Whitfield.
Hey, man. Thanks, Mike.
Bob, what up, man? We hadn't spoken in a while, man. I would doubt that you even remember me, man. Me and Rob doing the Sports Kings over there at CBS.
Yeah, man, that was a good time. I remember that.
Good.
So I talked to Rob more than I talked to you. So
you know what? They made me quit the show, dog. Yeah, they made me quit the show because I was working upstairs and it was too damn cheap to try to pay me a couple little hours so I can keep doing my show downstairs. So they made me quit. What you been up to in the time though? In the last couple of years, man.
Hey, man, all good things, man. You know, I had some lovely kids that I got an opportunity once I retired to spend more time with. And get to be a good father to them and support them in their endeavors and get them, you know, further along in life. So that's been a focus of me since I retired. But, you know, I've always been a love of music and entertainment. So, you know, I still stay close to the music industry. I still own my publishing company. I sold my big studio that everybody still uses.
You sold Patchwork?
Studios. Yeah, I sold Patchwork, but I still keep close ties on you know, creative talent as it comes around. And then my football fix is that I'm a high school football official.
I saw that.
Put the zebra stripes on.
I saw that. Big Bob running around with the kids. I'm going to ask you about that here in just a second. Make sure you guys are following Bob on Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter at WhatUpBob and on Instagram at It's Bob Whitfield. How your health doing? Because every time I talk to one of you retired players, you know, with all the stuff that's in the news, Bo Jackson last week saying that, you know, if he had to do all over again, he wouldn't play. And if his son wanted to play, he'd smack him in the mouth. Like, your son just got through playing. Last time we talked, he was playing over at Stanford, man. But how's your health doing?
Oh, I'm good. You know, it's always a thing that you get up in age that you got to be, you know, monitor your health.
True
and
that.
I went to the doctor finally, and the doctor said, well, we can get that blood pressure down. So that's just my goal, get my blood pressure down, lose some weight, and keep the weight off.
True that. I was talking to Terrence Mathis the other day. Terrence Mathis said he's good too, so it seems like all those 98 Falcons still doing their thing. Is the season too long, Bob? Because the games have been so bad in these playoffs. You know, only 2 of the games have been very competitive, and you look at the injury reports, and it almost seems like just survival of the fittest. Like, if you can make it across the finish line, let alone run across it, guys limping around and everybody's getting shot up before the games. Is the season just too long?
No, I think that's been the football the way that I've known it. So 4 preseason games and then 16 regular season games. I think that if you're going to take off any games, you should take off 2 of those preseason games so that you have, you know, 1 preseason game to evaluate multiple talent, and the second preseason game, you know, to get to evaluate the other bit of talent, because by the 3rd game, it's the regular season, and you should have already known through 6 and 7 or 8 months of scouting and what you did last year and who you brought in new and what you think they could do. You know, it's a big-time organization, so you can knock off 2 preseason games, but the 16 games in the regular season, it is a race to the finish line, and the strong can't survive. So you're as only good as a team as your weakest link.
Absolutely.
The Falcons have a lot of depth. You take out Julio, that offense don't shut down. They got tight ends galore, so it's almost you watch them play. The depth at running back, the guys are versatile. They all smart guys. They get in the scheme. They understand what they're supposed to do. So that one goes down, the next man steps up.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. That's what you're talking about. That's an arsenal. That's a weapon. So it's no drop-off.
What was today like for you guys, the day after? Like, after you guys, because it was a little bit different because you guys had to come back from Minnesota. But the next day that you guys were in Atlanta, whether it been the next day or the following day, what was that day like? What was the realization like for you guys in 98? Like, damn, we about to play in the damn Super Bowl, the first one in franchise history.
That was the revelry of it. Like, when you start coming into the airport and the fans and they're shooting the cannons over the airplane flying back from Minnesota, and then the parade and the stuff going on, and the elation of it being the first team finally making it across the, you know what I'm saying, that precipice of being to get to go.
Mm-hmm.
But some of that revelry gets ballyhooed too much because you still had to play a game because the season wasn't over. So just because you were the first to get there, it wasn't done. So I think a lot of that was a shock to the team, the organization. You know, even the players, because a lot of players first time going. So it's like everybody was elated beyond. So it's almost like you had to have a cooler head to prevail because your head was exploding.
Right. All the emotion, all the work that you put in. And that's the one good thing I've been hearing from this team. Matt Ryan, Coach Dan Quinn saying like, his quote was actually, and well, I'm paraphrasing that, you don't get a reward for going. The reward is playing well and winning. That's what you get the reward for. So we're going to take care of some business. It feels to me, you know, being someone that's from here, it felt to me in 98 in my youth that the city was a lot happier about the team in 98. And I asked myself why. And the answer that I came up with was social media, Bob, because now fans aren't just in their pockets of other fans and happy with each other. There is kind of this attitude of, I'm not only happy for my team, but now I got to poo-poo on this other team, and I got to defend myself from the quote-unquote haters and the doubters and all this kind of stuff. These things that didn't necessarily exist in that big of a way in 98. Do you feel that same thing? Like being in the city, do you feel a different kind of, energy?
Well, I look at it, and I wouldn't say it's the social media effect of a person, you know, don't want them to claim their team because the backlash or other people just click and boo in their timeline. I think it's more the effect of fantasy football, because these people are playing fantasy football. So now you might have the Falcons going against Tom Brady, but Tom Brady been winning you points all year long. So you as a Falcons fan, you like, man, I don't want to go against my team, but I've been winning all my fantasy points with Tom Brady. Which one do you choose?
Yeah, the gambling too.
You gamble with Tom Brady against your own squad.
I'm talking right now with Bob Whitfield. He played on that 98 Super Bowl team. That's why he's on the line with me. I'm glad to catch up with him, as a matter of fact. So make sure you guys are following him on social media, Twitter being What Up Bob, and on Instagram, it's Bob Whitfield.
But just remember this, before, because the fans now, the first has already happened. The first Falcons team to get there, that's already taken place. So this team is the second team. So the fans can technically have an expectation like, we already gave y'all parade when y'all got there in 98. Look what y'all did.
Like buyer's remorse.
Yeah, we're like, we ain't giving the parade till y'all win that joker.
Let's talk about the two teams, though. Like, I look at this team, and it's another 2-week stretch till we get to the big game. So everybody's got to try to like space out what they're gonna say and say everything a million times before that time gets here. But I look at this team, and I don't really see anybody who I necessarily want to hear from. And I don't think that's a bad thing. But you guys had guys like Ray and you, and like Jamal and Tim Dwight, a bunch of crazy dudes. Ray and Shannon Sharp got into it a little bit at the press conference. Do you see anybody from this team making any type of noise in the next 2 weeks?
Well, I think Matt Ryan is going to be, courteous and politically correct quarterback. But I think Robert Alford, that cornerback, might be a little, because they might grill him on some of those calls that he has been getting, and then miraculously they didn't want to call as tight. So, beneficiary calls. So he's been the one that's been, most penalized for the Falcons, whatever. So he might get agitated by a reporter or whatever, going at him, grilling him. And then young linebackers, they might have to deal with other problems because of the spotlight on them, because we had so many characters on that team, from Ray Boo, with nicknames. Jesse Tuggle was the hammer. He was the focus of the thing. Then you have Jam, Jamal Anderson, the true Dirty Bird.
Wait, hold on. I heard that O.J. Santiago was the original Dirty Bird. Is that not true?
Well, because according to Jamal, O.J. only did some angry man's version of an end zone dance. He did not put no style and flair on it, not enough that he can claim being the originator. Jamal says his original Dirty Bird is 25 seconds long.
There it is. There it is. See, now we got the true story, because the story all along has been like, nah, man, it wasn't Jamal. It was O.J. Santiago. He created the Dirty Bird. But because
O.J. in the week before.
Because his was angry, it didn't rock.
Mm-hmm. It didn't rock. It didn't have the bounce.
Oh, boy. You see that?
But that's what happens. The team has to, for 2 weeks, have to quell a lot of emotion, but it's the ballyhoo. So rituals may change. Some rituals that you had, that you did things a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do it that way because schedules change. And I remember that from 98 was that we practiced a certain way all year long once we hit that winning streak, and we never altered practice. Then we get to the dang bye week before the Super Bowl, practice scheduled altered. Everybody's like, what the hell is this?
Look, so
this ain't how we operate.
Last Friday, I had Terrence Mathis on the show. He told me that Dan Reeves changed the entire game plan, like what y'all was doing all year. And this was my first time hearing this, that what y'all were doing on offense, he switched the whole thing up because of Mike Shanahan being one of his assistants and knowing everything, or he felt like he knew everything that you guys were going to do. He switched everything up. Like, what kind of craziness was that? And how did that play amongst the players, especially guys like you and guys like Jam, boisterous guys?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say he switched it all up.
Mm-hmm.
He added another variable dimension that technically we all have the big giant playbook.
Right.
First playbook that has the whole schematic in there and how you can run in and out of different formations and whoop, whoop, whoop. So what happened is he pulling deep into the playbook. So now there's a learning curve of memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you ain't heard of this play because we ain't ran it in
all
2 years.
Since camp. Oh, 2 years. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? 2 years ago or something. Or we ain't used this formation package since the Jets game in the previous season.
Wow.
New guys will have no familiarity. So you run the risk of saying not everybody's going to know how to execute this at a high level. So there's one play in particular. There's one play, and amongst, all the plays, but there's one play in particular that I knew the level of execution. This is actually in the game, where Tim Dwight had no clue who he was supposed to block because he's never ran this from this formation probably in the game situation.
My goodness.
And I was hoping that he knew who he was going to block. And as the play unfolded, I can see he had a crackback block. And I saw in his motion, and I was like, he's coming too fast to crack back. He's not going to get this block. His motion is coming in because he didn't know he had to crack that guy. It disrupted the whole play. It was a 3rd and 1 play. We don't get the first down.
What does that do for the confidence of an offense? Like, going into a game, if you're not, like, the biggest game of your careers, going into the game and you're not 100% confident that the guy next to you or the guy lined up outside or the guy in the backfield knows exactly what's to be done on every play, do you have a little bit of trepidation, like, oh my God, like not able to,
no,
I guess.
I get what you're saying, but the whole idea is you still going to have to overcome that because what you going to bet on? Because even if the thought comes in your head, you're going to bet on, I hope he hit that mug, though.
Right.
You know, it looked like he's coming a little fast. I hope he know, he need to chop his feet right before the snap.
Wow.
He coming hot. He coming in hot. I just still hope he know because it looked like he can't slow down. You know what I'm saying? So until that split second they hike that ball, you might still be like, I still hope that he gets it right.
That's wild.
And that's what, like, I tell, like, the Falcons, like the current Falcons team, me and Matthews, Matthews, he gets offsides penalties and people get all upset and grumpy, like Bob used to get offsides penalties. But then what happened is if you can recover from that.
Exactly, bouncing back.
Like, okay, we bouncing back. So the whole idea is, like, you're not supposed to get it wrong and then you go in the tank, like, oh, damn it, ain't nothing going to get right.
Yeah.
And I just think that was one of the plays where we got it wrong, and it just steamrolled downhill, got worse from there.
Man. The other voice that you're hearing is former Falcon. He played on that 98 Super Bowl team, as you hear us talking about it. He's also the founder of Patchwork Studios here in Atlanta. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at What Up Bob on Twitter, at It's Bob Whitfield on Instagram. He is, of course, Bob Whitfield. Give me something, man. Like you're a dude that I know will do this. Terrence was kind of shy about it. Give me a story, man, that if it existed today, you know, like Antonio Brown had the Facebook Live situation that kind of bit him in the ass a little bit. But that stuff went around in '98. But we've talked a little bit, even during this interview, about the characters that you guys had on that team. So I know some stuff went down. You don't have to name no names, but give me the story that you can tell me that not a lot of people know about that happened during that Super Bowl run. Something good.
Well, I think the biggest story were the depth of the camaraderie that people didn't know about. So
see, he said the same thing.
You start talking the Chris Chandler and the Bobby Christians and the Cornelius Bennett, the Jesse Tuggles, the young Keith Brookings, you know, OJs, Jamals. We all came together, whether it was my house or whether it was Eugene's house, you know what I'm saying? All came, all the different styles of players, backgrounds of players, where we doing karaoke, so it's rap music 1 second, country music the next. That was a family unit. We was in it together. We was brothers in it together. Wives come together, kids running together. So the bond and the closeness and the proximity and the trust was so great. So Bobby Christian he was the fullback, amazing fullback, hit everybody. So Bobby Christian, nobody knew he used to go home after practice and really practice his guitar. So he was waiting for this moment that he was going to debut his guitar and his song.
He wasn't that dude, was he? Like the dude that just like gather around and start strumming on his joint? I mean, his guitar.
Hey, man, I thought it was. I was like, what's his name? John Denver? What the hell? Man, get out of here with that guitar, man. I tried to smash the guitar and bust it. Get that, man, the kids and everybody that ran off. Man, you done killed the party, Bobby.
Damn. See, yeah, man, you dudes was down here you were here in like the height of Atlanta. You know what I mean? The Too Legit to Quit and all that was going on. We still had, was Club Nicky still around in 98, Bob?
Man, it's Club Nick, Magic City. I don't know if it's, but I was there when Nicky was hot.
Yeah, man.
Magic City. Then Deion Sanders, Too Legit to Quit with Hammer, and we was running a different offensive scheme, run and shoot. So we was a high scoring bunch, throwing the ball all over the place, trying to put up numbers.
That's when it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun down
I think it's still fun now. I think the difference is how the fun is because of the social media and all that, where now you can realize fun without even leaving your damn couch. You clicking on social media, doing live Snapchats, live Facebooks, people sending hearts and direct messages, hit me on the DM, you know what I'm saying, and going down in the DM, whatever. It's all of that on social media so that the star effect of the talent, how we had it in 98, was we directly touched the audience, the fans. We were the first to get there, so they was lined up at the airport. We hugging, kissing babies coming off the plane through Hartsfield Jackson Airport. It wasn't even Jackson over there. It was just Hartsfield Airport.
Atlanta, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we was coming off kissing babies like that. So, it was real pictures, Polaroid shots, popping out the camera still. No, there was cameras and phones.
Was it in 98? Or did we still have the disposables? Because I got a disposable around here somewhere that never got developed.
What? It was like... Actually, no, because I remember when we went to Tokyo the next year was, I think when we got the first camera and the phone we bought in Tokyo.
Well, yeah, they always had us
was the
anyway.
Next year that cameras came in phone.
Yeah. I got a couple last questions for you. I didn't even realize until just today, thinking about it, As we talked about, you going to Stanford and your son going to Stanford back on the Sports King show, but I didn't realize to the day that your coach was Dennis Green, man. And I'm glad that I'm getting a chance to talk to you now, in light of his passing last year. But there was something I was talking about on the show, like after it happened, how they had kind of reduced my man to that one rant after the Bears game, whatever, crown them. If you want to crown them, crown their ass and all that. But I felt like he was just so much more than that. So everybody that I have on the show that had any type of relationship or had ever touched him, I always kind of asked him to give me a Dennis Green story, man. Give me a story of Dennis Green being a part of your life.
Well, I think that rant, what people saw in that commercial, and that commercial was classic. So Dennis Green does have the modern day social effect. Rest in peace, Denny. That commercial probably got more hits, more replays.
Right, it went viral before viral.
Yeah, it was classic, that rant. But that was the depth of Denny, meaning that he allowed us as players to grow as men. You know what I'm saying? I was coming in as 17-year-old into college, and he said, "You're gonna start right away." First he said, "You're going to start at right tackle." After I whooped the defensive end over on that side, he said, "Well, just put him on left tackle. He can whoop him over there, too." So I whooped him over there, too. So he's like, "Oh, you're going to go all the way." He knew I was going to be a pro.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like a father to me, a great mentor, a great man. And what it was that those rants came out based on what you put forth, because he was clear, concise, and what you needed to do to be successful, and what he was willing to do for you to help you get to that level of success. So all you had to do was your share. So one of the things he used to do is ask you when you walk through the hallways and when you see him is like, "How'd that class go today? How'd that class go today?
Word.
How's that subject going today?" And one of the things I used to do, because I was like, "Ooh, I know I did not go to that class," I would sit there and lie to Coach.
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, Coach, that class was great. That class was great.
Did he find you out?
Keep up the good work." Hell no, he didn't find out. I was like, shoot, I already knew. I was like, there's no way he knew exactly what class was today. There's no way he knew I had a 9 o'clock class and I missed it. He just had to be throwing out a guess, and I'm going to call him on that guess.
Right.
Yeah, I lied to Coach. Yeah, it was great, Coach. Man, the subject matter, woo, it's intense. It's a Stanford.
You're ridiculous.
Denny Green was a great coach, and he's a great mentor to me. He set me on my way in my professional career and in life. I love Coach to death, and he's always been a close member of my family. And it's sad to have him go, but he has inspired and instilled a lot in a lot of guys, a lot of players, and he turned a lot of young black boys into men.
Absolutely. Shout out to Dennis Green, man. Last thing I got for you, and I always appreciate your time, Bob. So at the beginning of the interview, you talked about reffing at in the high school level, and I remember I was coaching like Little League, the little kids, and some of the guys who would come out on Saturday mornings to, help with the kids or whatever, they were refs too. So we'd be sitting around chopping it up and talking to them or whatever. And they have some stories, my man, about the things that went on the football field with some of these new age kids now. And then later on, you end up seeing YouTube clips of cats attacking the referees. These two dudes in Texas jumping on the referee. Apparently they heard the N-word come out of his mouth. That's always the best go-to, by the way. Like anytime you do something foolish, like, wait a minute, he called me the N-word. Of course I cut his throat. You know what I mean? Like, that's always the go-to. But for you, like, has anything happened on the field? Because you're a couple of years older than me, so we grew up at a time where you ain't mess with the referees, but now these kids don't give a damn. Have you seen or heard anything on the field that make you kind of just take you back a little bit? Like, what the hell you say, young boy?
Well, I tell you, like, first let me give a little background. I officiate. I can't remember my position. I'm a line judge, so I'm on the sideline running with the play, getting the spot. So I'm always got a coach in my ear.
Oh.
So I'm always got coach confrontation, got to deal with players coming in and out the game. You know what I'm saying? I work with GFOAs, Georgia Football Officials Association, and we are always taking on new officials. So GFOA.cc is a website. You can go and find information. GFOA.cc, I think that's right. Yep, get some new information. But, it's a way to give back to football in a way to, help expand my knowledge of the game. So I find it profound because it's another part. We're the third team on the field.
Mm-hmm.
So I only had one major incident, and it happened actually this year. I'm in the game, and it's a team. It's like a playing game practically. So whoever wins this game goes to playoffs. So the team is whooping them. As I see the action going, one team clearly was dominating this other team. So of course, the team that's getting dominated is always badgering the officials about anything. So it might be some ticky-tack calls where you might say, oh, I can call holding because he had his hand on his jersey.
Right.
But if that guy with his hand on his jersey did not affect the play or alter the man in his path, whatever, that ain't holding. His hand is just on his jersey. He did not hold him or restrict him from going. But on that sideline, they're going to be yelling.
It's holding, right.
They're going to be. So this coach was yelling and screaming the whole game. So we get down to about the late third, early fourth quarter, and some action goes on the sideline. And the way the action went, two things occurred. So I shifted my focus to one, and the action over there was a little bit greater. So I should have repositioned myself, and I could have probably got both bits of action.
Mm-hmm.
But since I didn't, I only caught the main part of this action and missed something that happened over there. My bad. But the dude is irate because now he like, yo, this kid over here doing this, they doing that, woo, 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 and you ain't trying to call nothing. You just trying to be out here for the money.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. So apparently he just thinks you're like some regular ref then, huh?
Ooh, he hit the store. He hit it. If you ever wanted to see a ref knock out a coach, that's one of the ways you can get knocked out. About a $90 job. I'm over here got a Dodge kids, hurl, risking life and limb. And you got people chasing you, might chase you out of the damn stadium if you make a call, whatever, and you're going to be like, I'm here for the money.
That's ridiculous.
I told him, you better watch your neck. You better watch your mouth.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy, dude. That's like, dog, I've seen it before, and I've been up and close and seen it, and I'm like, and like I say, the dudes that used to help us out at the park would have these stories, and I'm like, man, you guys are better men than me, and Bob, you're a better man than me. I'll give you that one too, dog. You're a better man than me.
Well, because here's the thing. I'll put it out there for any dad. I don't do youth football because it'll be even worse.
Yeah, parents. Those
in
parents
high
are
school
wild.
Football, any parent, any coach, anybody got love for their team, and they just feel that for whatever happened on the field today, that the officials lost in the game, and you want to confront Bob, the official, after the game. I am not an easy win.
Please believe it. Please believe it. My man, good catching up with you, man. Thank you for your time tonight, Bob, man.
For sure. Anytime.
All right, have a good one, dog.
All right, bro. Later.
Oh, man. Check him out on Twitter at What Up Bob and on Instagram at It's Bob Whitfield. That's my man. He's a crazy MFer too, man. Also, man, the website that he gave for you guys and girls who may think about doing some reffing or whatnot, it was gfoa.com or GFOA.cc if you guys are looking to do some refereeing. All right, we're going to come back, get the last segment of the show out of the way. I still got to give you guys the poll question results and as well as do on this day. We'll do it all next right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show, heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, and, of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at OneMicWithBigMike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Sky high. Welcome back to the Monday episode of the One Mic with Big Mike show. So Falcons Monday. We did Falcons Monday last year too, but it was bad. It was about bad stuff. This year is about good stuff, man. The Falcons, as well as the New England Patriots, headed to Super Bowl 51 in Houston, Texas, in about 2 weeks. I'm here, man, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Still trying to work out my tune-in situation, and of course on the website. Make sure you guys check out the website, onemike.com. Probably got some changes coming to the website. We're going to do some updating to the website here in just a minute. The show is also available on demand on all 4 of those platforms, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Where you can also check out the videos from the show as well, the streaming video. I got to figure out how to get my YouTube game popping. I don't really understand the whole YouTube situation. A lot of social media kind of, flies over my head or whatever, but I'm trying to catch on here and there. But make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the iTunes, and follow me on iHeartRadio and TuneIn and all those places, Stitcher as well. All right, it's that time in the show where we take a look back into the annals of sports history. I like to call it On This Day. And here we
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your Monday, your first Monday before your last Monday before the end of football season here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Hold on, I gotta find my On This Day. All right, on this day in 1950, the NFL rule changes open up a way for 2 platoon system, offense and defense. I don't know what that means. I should have probably looked it up. A 2 platoon system for offense and defense. That started in 1950. On this day in 1953, the National Football League's national and American conferences become the Eastern and Western conferences. On this day in 1965, the Boston Celtics center Bill Russell misses all 14 shots in a loss to the Philadelphia Warriors, led by Wilt Chamberlain. See, these are things they don't never tell us about when, like, Oscar Robertson and these dudes talk about how bad the basketball is right now. Wilt Chamberlain, the greatest champion in basketball history, went a whole game without hitting a damn shot, missing all 14 of his shots. They kind of just, conveniently leave that stuff out when they talk about how great the old days were. Out of here. On this day in 1979, Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. On this day in 1983, the Houston Rockets, they're the first NBA team to be held scoreless in an overtime game, the game where they played the Portland Trailblazers, and they were outscored 17-0. In the 113-96 win. And finally, on this day in 1985, Orenthal James Simpson, otherwise known as OJ, became the first Heisman Trophy winner to be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Has anybody who won a Heisman Trophy been in the Hall of Fame since then? That is your On This Day. I'm trying to think of Heisman Trophy winners. They've pretty much been bad to average, or average to bad. Let's see, Ricky Williams, Ron Dane, Ty Detmer. Oh, no, Marshall Faulk didn't win it. Ty Detmer won it. Who else? Tim Brown. Tim Brown might get into the Hall of Fame, so he'll be a Heisman Trophy winner in the Hall of Fame. Or is Tim Brown already in the Hall of Fame? Either way, if he gets there or if he's already there, that'll be another one. I can't think of any other Heisman Trophy winners. Gino Torretta. Trying to go back in the day and think. Archie Griffin, no. Herschel Walker. Nah, that's it. Yeah, look at that. Learned something today. That's a rarity on this show. Some intellect being brought to the table. Excuse me. Why is this still on my notes? All right, so we talked about the Falcons game, and we talked a little bit about the Falcons fans. Let me give you guys real quick before I forget again. Let me give you guys the poll results and some of the poll questions that I have up for today. Hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. The old ones were, I did this one yesterday, so let me go all the way back. If you were the two guys, by the way, those two guys who put that $300 on the Packers to go all the way, and they would have won like $300,000 or $30,000 or whatever it was, a bunch of money, they lost it all because, of course, the Packers got ate up by it. And they didn't hedge the bet. They didn't pull any money out. They just kept letting it ride. So I heard him on the radio today on Dan Le Batard's show, and they did the typical white guy thing where he was like, well, really, if you look at it, we only lost $300. Lies. That's a lie. This is not like winning the lottery or losing the lottery. This is money that you could have had actually in hand, the 20 whatever grand that you had, or 18 or whatever, however much money it was. You had it in hand, and yeah, blew it on the Packers. Damn you, Aaron Rodgers, damn you. It really ain't his fault. It's the other cat. But anyway, I asked about Russell Westbrook, not the football player, the basketball player. His name is Westbrook. If him not being named an all-star starter is 75% of you said it's highway robbery. You don't understand how these things work. 25% of you say it's a non-issue. That's kind of where I land. I don't know why I put understandable on here too. Yeah, that's me being an idiot. If you were the guys who had that bet on the Packers, would you have hedged the bet or let it ride? 100% say let it ride. Wow, really? Y'all got some confidence in the damn Packers. What percentage chance do you give the Packers to beat the Falcons on Sunday? The highest numbers were both tied at 29%. People gave them between a 50 and a 74% chance, or a 25 and a 49% chance. 28% of you guys gave them a 0 to 24% chance. Guess who those people were? Who they're fans of. And the current hashtag put it on the poll questions, brought to you by sportsnewsandbrews.com, is for you to grade. Give the 2017 playoffs a grade. Of course, A, B, C, and D. They wouldn't allow me to put F because apparently they only give you 5 options. But A, B, C, and D are your options. 33% so far are saying D. Yeah, exactly. They've been bad. I can't even believe it's not more than that. And finally, the last one, has Matt Ryan finally eclipsed Mike Vick in the eyes of Falcons fans? 77% say yes. Good for you guys. 14% of you guys still say he has to win a Super Bowl. And you heard Ben Troupe too in the beginning of the show, or in the second segment of the show. I think he's kind of on that level. And 9% of you D-bags say he never will. My gosh, how is that even a thing? Oh man, and it's quite a good number of people who voted for that one too. By the way, shout out to my man Rob Calloway over there at the HBC Report, retweeting all the hashtag put it on the polls. So, getting back to the fan situation, as you heard me talking to Ben earlier, like the whole concept, especially in a market like this with the fans and the bandwagon fans, you need those people. You know what I mean? You need those people to add to the excitement. I know it's cool on Facebook to shame everybody for everything, but in reality, if somebody was just like casually watching the Falcons and they live here in Atlanta and now the team is good, they want to kind of be a part of what's going on. Like these parades that you see in these cities, well, some of them, they're not just packed with people who live and eat and sleep and breathe the team. Nah, they just some people who just, like, to me, if the Falcons win, I'll be more excited for the city than I will be for the team, to be quite honest with you. I think the team would have earned it. They've gone through a bunch, a change in coaching staff 2 years ago. a guy who had to fire a guy who essentially came in and rescued the franchise at a time where it needed rescuing. Matt Ryan, Thomas Dimitroff, but it was a time for change, and obviously it was a time for change because as we see now, the next step was taken. Mike Smith took this team to a certain point, and now Coach Quinn is able to hopefully in the next 2 weeks, in 2 weeks in Houston, take them eventually over. As the word Bob used, over the precipice, over that line and become champions and bring a championship here to the city of Atlanta. If they do, man, big up, man. Big up to everybody in the city. Whether you're a fan or not, man, it's still a good time for the city. And let people enjoy the good time. And you people who are like my man Matt, defending, these people who are trying to, call people fake fans here in Atlanta. Nah, because Ben used that, and I stopped him. Like, nah, man, don't do that. You know what I mean? And also, if you're the person, don't defend that. Enjoy this, man, because Carolina was here last year, Denver was here last year. They enjoyed it, and rightfully so, because now you see a year later, both of those teams were sitting at home. Carolina didn't have a chance almost since the beginning of the season. It's important, man, as a fan, not only as a team. As the team that's going to enjoy this time, man, and savor it and not be like my man Callaway. Man, Callaway is like, don't nobody give a damn about winning no NFC championship. I want the Lombardi. Well, only one team is going to get it. And it doesn't mean that the season was a bust if you don't get it like that. I don't get that at all, man. Like, there are things and there are milestones and things accomplished by this team that you may never, ever, ever see again, whether they win or not, because that kind of stuff comes down to a lot of different variables when you come all down. We in my lifetime, we saw a team that went undefeated through the playoffs and the regular season lose in the Super Bowl to a team that barely got in. Go figure. It's a one-off, man. You know what I mean? It's a one shot. You don't play a 3-game series or a 7-game series, baseball, basketball. You don't play series. And in a one and done scenario, crazy things tend to happen. So to say if the team doesn't win the championship against a team, by the way, that kind of know this road. You know what I mean? If they don't win against another very, very good football team, that don't make the team a failure at all. You know what I mean? So if you're a Falcons fan and you listen to this, enjoy it, man. Enjoy every bit of it. I don't know if you got to be as crass as some of you guys are, but whatever. However you run your situation, I'm not the regulator of anybody's happiness. Feel me? And I want to, before I get out of here for the night, I want to talk a little bit about Matt Ryan, because Matt Ryan has been a point of contention in this market. For those people who aren't from here, who aren't from Atlanta, just bear with me. He's been a point of contention since he's gotten here. And the biggest knock against him, the biggest unspoken knock against this guy was that he wasn't Mike Vick. People were really, really butthurt about that stuff that happened with Mike Vick. And I don't understand. It was like someone, you need to take it out on someone. But it was too hard, I guess, emotionally, to put the blame where it actually lay. Like, for all the love that people have given and still give to Mike Vick, while he was a player here, he didn't give it back to you. Like, he made plays on the football field, and he was exciting and things of that nature. But those are the things that he was going to do anyway, anywhere. If the Chargers would have drafted him, it would have gone down simply the same way, or whoever would have drafted him. But when we start talking about love, the reciprocating of love, it's not what someone tells you. I love the fans here. Show you, like, put the work in, B. And as soon as that dude got on radio here and said, that he didn't put in the work when he was here in Atlanta, he was on TV talking to his former coach at one time, Jim Mora Jr., and told Jim that he never went home and watched film. He said his words to him were, those DVDs may still be in the trunk of that car, and I don't even know where that car is right now. Yeah, like, that's tough as just a football fan for me to hear about my city, and also having the understanding that throughout the Bobby Petrino situation, if Matt Ryan doesn't work out, if this gangly kid out of Boston College doesn't turn into a league MVP, which he's probably going to be this year, it's going to be all bad for this city, man. It's going to be all bad. And for that, the blame should turn to the man who was wearing number 7. But instead, there was a lot of ire thrown at Matt Ryan. Like, I used to just sometimes look at Twitter on Sundays and just watch people, their differing reactions to Matt Ryan. Any mistake he made was the worst thing in the world. But then they would be elated again because he did something good for the team. Once he did that, once he threw a touchdown pass or something like that, every interception, as though he wasn't supposed to. And it took this season. It took this year. This man played damn near perfect football this year. Just look at what we're talking about. Very, very few giveaways in either capacity, via the fumble or the interception. It seemed as though while watching them play all 16 games, that they seem to be in the right play all the time. That's hard to do. And for that dude to have to do that to garner the acceptance, I don't even think it's the love right at this point. I think it's just acceptance is at the point that he's at right now. And maybe the Super Bowl would garner some love, but he's not that dude. He's not that dude that you're going to show up and see Matt in the club. You know what I mean? This party at wherever is not hosted by Matt Ryan. This dude is, you know what I mean? This dude is white milk. He's plain. He's just the dude that's going to play quarterback and win you some ball games at the same time. But it was always this measuring of all the things that he wasn't. He had the strongest arm because Mike Vick had a cannon. He wasn't fast because Mike Vick ran 4.3. Of course, he wasn't black. That's a thing, too. We got to keep it real, right? I remember talking to this dude on our old show, The Sports Kings, this cat named Jerry Clark. A lot of people here in the A know Jerry. And I remember me and him, this is back in the day when like argumentative radio was my thing, like trying to find my way in the business, and doing so you tend to kind of emulate the things that you see because you think those are the things that attract ears and those things. And I wasn't wrong, they do, but I just think it's idiotic. I've learned over the years that stuff is fabricated and idiotic. This wasn't fabricated though. Me and Jerry was actually arguing about Matt Ryan. And it was at that time where Joe Flacco had just got paid or he's about to get paid or whatever it was. And the gleaming question about every quarterback was, is he an elite quarterback? Is he an elite quarterback? And I've always felt that Matt Ryan was a better quarterback, better at playing the position of quarterback than Joe Flacco. I felt like Joe Flacco put together some good performances in the playoffs, which caused his career to become more illuminated. Then they won championships. And so that would be the fact that people would rest that argument on, right? And I just happened to see Jerry on Facebook yesterday. He follows was Facebook friends with my dude Rob Calloway. He's with me now too, but I had to remind him about that. I was like, "You think you still take Joe Flacco now?" You know what I mean? And I'm not the dude that's like, I'm trying to be right about things. And this is not picking games. This is not a guessing game. It's about understanding what you're watching. Like this guy that's here in Atlanta is a much better quarterback. He's not even really that close. Yeah, Joe Flacco has the big arm, and he was able to do some things in the playoffs, and they ended up with championships. But he also had a beast of a running game. He also had a beast of a defense. Two things that Matt Ryan ain't never ever had at his disposal. Well, the running game, Michael Turner. I'm sorry. And now there's this shift in, Matt Ryan been my day one guy. No one will admit. You know what I mean? And of course, everybody wasn't on a radio station. Everybody don't have like people who can vouch for the fact. Like, I've been called a Matt Ryan apologist and, get off Matt Ryan's, and all this kind of stuff. When in actuality, I was just telling people like, look, man, this dude is a real good quarterback. Did I ever think he'd be an MVP? Nah, I never thought that. But the one thing that I've always said, just in general, about very good, that very good can touch great every now and then. Now, the challenge would be, with a new offensive coordinator coming in next year, how long can he sustain a level of play close to this? I don't think he will see this again, but just close to this, because the great ones do it. The Mannings, the Breezes, the Bradys, they sustain certain levels of play. Like Tom Brady had an unbelievable year. The year that Randy Moss came to town, But then Randy Moss moved on, and he had Aaron Hernandez and Gronk, and everything changed a little bit. The numbers weren't as gaudy, but you still saw greatness, and that's going to be the challenge for Matt Ryan moving forward. Because we saw a dude last year, the MVP last year, in Cam Newton have an unbelievable season. I mean, do things that were just mind-boggling at times. There was a throw against the Falcons, as a matter of fact, where if you blinked, you would have thought he threw it through, like actually the ball through Corey Wire's body. And all you see is like, I don't know whose hands they were. Just some hands come out of nowhere. The kid from Michigan probably. Out of nowhere and catch the ball in the end zone for a touchdown. It was one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen. And fast forward to this year, Cam had a good year, a decent year, but he got beat up a lot. Team didn't play as well. You didn't hear too much about Cam this year, other than the fact that he was complaining about not getting calls. Things can shift that quickly in the NFL, man, and we've seen it happen time after time after time, because if you want to remember one thing, remember this. The people on the other side of the football get paid money too. The players, the coaches, the coordinators, all those people get paid money too. And you give them an off season, they're going to figure you out or make their best attempt, and it's up to you as a staff and as a player and as an individual to try to stay a step ahead. It's going to be extra hard with Matt Ryan, though. You know what I mean? Because the one thing about Matt Ryan, he's not very confrontational. As we could tell from what happened last year with Kyle Shanahan. It took his head coach to be like, look, man, you need to sit down with my dude, my quarterback, and figure out what the hell is going on so you guys get on the same page. It's not like Todd Haley and Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. Like that relationship from the beginning. Once Bruce Arians? Once Bruce Arians moved on, it was like mad contentious, man. And I think they've eventually, smoothed things out. But Ben wanted to do it his way. Todd Haley wanted to do it his way. And I mean, it may have even been the same thing where Mike Tomlin was like, look, get it together, man. Figure out a way because we got to win some ball games. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, how all this materializes for not only the team but the city. And I'm excited to see it, man. For whatever it's worth, I'm excited to see it. A couple of things before we get up out of here for the day, because I don't want to carry these over anymore. The Lakers only scored 73 points this weekend. Remember, it was high on them. I was talking to Guy Torrey about the baby Lakers and how good they looked. And, yeah, that went from sugar to ish real quick. And I don't know if you guys heard about this TNT thing where I think it's February, a couple games in February, like 5 weeks. They're going to have an all players broadcast. I think it's going to be terrible. I really do. Because there's certain things that you want to get, like guys like Kevin Harlan, the guys who do it good, Hubie, Coach Van Gundy, and those cats. Like, there's certain things that you want from these people. Me personally, I don't want to just hear, because I live in Atlanta, if you haven't noticed so far, and like the product that's going on at the Phillips Arena with Dominique Wilkins, like I can imagine two of him doing a ball game. Like Bob Rathman has to carry that broadcast, like for the most part, throughout the entire thing. You don't get anything from the play-by-play guy, and then there's going to be two of them. I think Greg Anthony's going to be one of them, and Chris Webber, and I think Chris Webber's hosting the studio show, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to poo-poo on it, like just straight up from the jump, but it feels like this is like, I don't know. Maybe some of you guys would want this because people want to put names on anything and then familiar faces on things. That's why when you look at these NFL pregame shows, it's like a panel of like 12 dudes up there, and you got the correspondent, you got somebody at the board, and two dudes debating about something. It's like every football player you've ever met and ever doing these things. And really, for me, I just want information. Just give me like some good, clean information, things that I can digest and things that'll help me in viewing the game. But apparently that's too boring, and the people, the TV executives, they feel like y'all too dumb to keep up with that. I'm gonna keep it real. They think viewers are dumb and you can't keep up with the intricacies of the game, and they don't want to bore you and all these kind of things. I don't know. They bury shows like NFL Primetime, or not NFL Primetime, what is it called? Matchup. NFL Matchup gets buried at like 4 o'clock in the morning. The other one, the one that Dan Patrick hosts on NBC Sports, you don't even know what time that comes on. Game, what is it called? Turning Point. They just put the commercial up and like check your local listing. They don't even have a regular time for it. You know why? Because that's stuff that people, you get an insight on the game. People really figure out a little bit more of what you're actually looking at because they're giving you the entire field, the all 22 field. Nah, you guys want to hear Shannon and Skip and what's the other dude's name? Skip Bayless and the other kid, the kid from the boxing. Yeah, it's all good. Anyway, man, we're going to, on Wednesday, I'll talk to you guys. I got some guests that I'm trying to get lined up for Wednesday's show, the Hump Day edition of the One Mic with Big Mike show. But also, I still want to talk to you guys about what's going on with the NCAA and these ADs being real slick. They're trying to get with your boy, trying to get with your man Trump and screw these kids even more than they already been doing. So we'll try to get that out of the way on Wednesday. These shows with these multiple guests, they just go by so fast. And on a day where I thought I didn't really do any prep and have anything on my notes, I still got so much left over for another show. So that's going to do it for tonight. We're going to come back on Wednesday. It's hashtag Women Crush Wednesday. Shout out to my man, Ben Troupe. Shout out to the homie, Big Bob Whitfield. Good catching up with him today. He's a damn fool, man. I think I might actually cut that audio and just post it by itself for you guys who just want to hear from Bob and not my dumb ass. Don't forget, all the platforms that you can get the show on demand and share with your friends. I appreciate you people who've been sharing my stuff and, listening to the old episodes and things of that nature. You can get them on Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. Spreaker also has an app. Tune in. You can go to my website, onemicwithbigmike.com, and also iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. If you want to get the audio from YouTube or you want to get the video, they'll both be there. And I'll make sure you guys are following me on Twitter and Instagram at One Mic with Big Mike, and like the Facebook page at One Mic with Big Mike. Until Wednesday, you guys be safe, and I hope to hear from you guys. Help you get over that hump.